So first of all, what is a blog tour? Well, a blog tour is a publicity tour. You see celebrities do this for movies. You see authors do it for books. They go on a book tour, and they go to a lot of different bookstores and sign books and do readings. Celebrities do this when they have a movie coming out. It seems like they make the rounds of all the talk shows, and they do it over a fixed period of time. So basically, a blog tour is a publicity tour. But the difference is it's all online. And that provides some distinct advantages that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. And the third thing that identifies a blog tour is it's done over a fixed period of time. And that's important, and that's one of the things that has people saying, I see you everywhere, is because you're not just showing up randomly. You're doing this over a fixed window of time so that it seems like your target audience is constantly seeing your message over a short time period. So let's take a look at each of these moving pieces and how they work together in doing a blog tour. First of all, what I'm going to be sharing with you is how I promoted this book. It's called Color Mastery, 10 Principles for Creating Stunning Quilts. And this is a self-published book. I've written 8 books. Only 2 of them have been self-published, but I was unknown in the quilting field, and selling a book on color is difficult, and no one really wanted to publish this. So I did it myself, and it was a very expensive book to publish. It cost $25,000 to have 3 copies printed and to have it produced, and my timing was really not good. And I'm going to go into that in just a moment. But what I'm going to share with you is how I did a blog tour to launch this product and how you can do the same. Now, my goal for Color Mastery was to sell out of 3,000 copies in 1 year. That was a reasonable goal. And in fact, it was pretty ambitious because the average self-published author sells about 100 books. That seems like that's hard to believe, but it's true. They sell 100 books. The average commercially published author sells 1,000 books. So I was actually being very ambitious in wanting to sell out in 1 year. So here's what I did. I developed a publicity tour. And the great thing about this publicity tour was I was able to target my audience. So I identified who my readers would be, and they're quilters because it's a quilting book. And so I identified the top quilting blogs that I thought would make good targets for my audience. And I ended up appearing on those blogs and sharing my content with people who would be in my target audience. So I appeared over quilting blogs. It was all online. And the beauty of doing this online is, first of all, it's forever publicity. It's not like an ad where you pay for it and then it's gone. The blog tour that I did is still online. It is still generating publicity for me. And literally, I had a woman call this week to see if she could get 100 copies of Color Mastery. She can't, unfortunately, because it's out of print, but that blog tour is still working for me, and it will do the same for you as well. It involves no travel, which is it's such a beautiful part of this blog tour because most publicity tours are notorious money losers. When an author goes on a book tour, they never recoup that money. Bookstores, it's the kind of thing where bookstores will order a ton of books to make a big splash, and then the ones they don't sell, they return to the publisher. Travel is expensive, and it's a lot easier if you don't have to schedule all that. And then the third thing that makes all online attractive is it's affordable. You don't have a lot of cost involved other than your time or somebody that you hire to help you develop the blog tour. There's not a lot of travel accommodations. There's not a lot of things that you have to spend for to do a blog tour. The third thing is that a blog tour is over a fixed period of time. And the reason that this is important is because you can do publicity all year long, but when it's spread out, it doesn't have as much of an impact. So I did my blog tour over 10 days. It was over 2 business weeks, 5 days the first week, 5 days the second week. And so it had a very large impact over a short period of time. Now, I could have done the same thing and done a blog tour over 10 months and done 1 guest post a month, but it would not nearly have had the significant impact that my blog tour did by doing it over such a short period of time. And I literally had, after my blog tour, other quilt designers say, "I see you everywhere." And it was funny because I wasn't everywhere. I was just everywhere they were. I had done a good job in identifying my audience, and so my readers and my colleagues were seeing me in a lot of places because it's a small community, and so they were seeing me in all the right places. So remember my goal? It was to sell out in 1 year. So what was my result? Well, I went from unknown in my field of quilting to Amazon's top 10 after that blog tour. So in 2 weeks, I went from unknown to Amazon's top 10 for the quilting category. And that is not for a Kindle book. No ebook here. This was for a paperback with 200 photos and illustrations, 4-color. It was very expensive. And I sold out in half the time. I sold out in 6 months. And I went on to sell 80 times the industry average for a self-published author. Remember, they sell 100 books? Well, I sold 8,000 over 2 printings. So what I'm going to do is show you how that you can develop your blog tour no matter what kind of brand you have, whether you have a product, whether you have a service. I just want to assure you that no matter what kind of business you have, a blog tour will work for you.